Hey guys, it's Mike the Wrestling God Smith. You guys are watching On Wrestling. This video is from my AEW review, AEW Toronto review. A lot of things I'm gonna talk about because there's a lot of stuff I did see because I saw the whole episode. Um, the first thing I want to get into is that Renee Paquette, aka FAK, formerly known as Renee Young, is in AEW, which I'm excited about. I'm glad that she's there. I'm glad that the Jungle Boy Luchasaurus rivalry is over because, like, not saying I didn't like Luchasaurus being a heel, but I really wanted to see how far they were going to take it, and I think Luchasaurus might become a world tag team. He might become a world champion if he keeps going at the route that he's going for. Because I feel like that was good. The wardrobe match, I really think with the factory could have been like that should have been first. Jeez, that should have been first instead of the wardrobe match. That could have been like, I mean, instead of the Luchasaurus like Jungle Boy match, that should have been first. That should have been second. The third match should have been the North Atlantic title, and then the Ring of Honor should have been the main event, and the women's tag team should have been the fourth one. Because it's like, okay, and here's the thing I'm also thinking about too, because the one thing I gotta say about the promos, like the promo for Hangman, the promo for Hangman and Mox was really good because, like, I love the fact that he made references to the 3 years, like, since the inception. He said, I have my old friends, I've done everything, and what do I have? I have nothing. You know, I mean, May I hesitated, but now I will not. He was like, I'm not gonna hesitate, but he said, I will. I don't know if I'll win, but I will. But he's like, I will be the next world heavyweight champion. And he said, all the friends that he had, like, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega just disappearing, seemingly disappearing. Um, like his new friends that he had, Dark Order, they seemingly disappear. My best friends disappear. And he said, I am 31 years old. I'm a father, but I keep coming back. I get beat up in the same face. Till my face turns blue. I get beat up in the same face because I am a man. And he was like, do you think I'm a kid to you? And the thing is, like, that promo was good. And I'm glad they're actually putting Mox against Hangman because we never really got to see that match. We never did. We got to see Hangman versus Punk, but we never got to see Hangman versus Mox at any inception because, and I'm happy, like, I'm happy they're getting this in. Because I love the promo that MJF gave. Because when he was talking to Alex Marvez, and he said, you know, and before he could even answer, Stokely was like, well, we put you to the sleep. We caught him slipping, and he was like, he's like, that's who would like it? That's hysterical. But who doesn't like it, Daddy? He was like, you know, he was like, that's right too. He said, that's right too. But he said, now Daddy's gonna have to put you in timeout. And he said, get your Carlton Banks butt away from me. See, what I loved about this promo was the fact that he said I have to look. He's like, you know what? He's like, he was like, everybody doesn't. He's like, I already know everybody doesn't like me. Hey, everybody in this I know. He's like, I know everybody in this locker room doesn't like me. Including half of this audience doesn't like me. And he also said he was like, but he said, you don't like me, fine. You're like, you don't like me, tough shit. But he's like, you have no idea what it's like being MJF. And I'm like, you know what? That's a perfect promo because we don't know what it's like to be MJF. He said, you don't like where I have to wake up and look myself in the face, look myself in the mirror. He said, I've point, and he said, he said, what about? And then he was like, what about William Regal? He's like, William Regal is, villainous. He's villainous as Mary. He's not even villainous as Mary Poppins. And he said, he was like, William Regal, me and you have a dark past, and you already know the story. Because I like that he brought that in there. I think he's saying that they have had a past before, and I like that he said, what? But he's like, nice guy. What I learned he's like, nice guys finish last. But he's like, I know that, man. I'm not an idiot. He said, to be champ, I have to be the bad guy. And I like that. See, I like that. I like what he did with that promo. That promo was good. I like that promo because, you know, that's true to life. Like when you're a good guy, you like have to be the bad guy in certain situations. And MJF has always been the de facto bad guy. I respect him. Here's the thing. I don't hate MJF. I actually love him as a heel. Because you know what? Even if I would have met him, I'd probably like, you know what? I like you. I like you, Mr. MJF, but I'm not trying to get an autograph. I'm not one of these fans that need an autograph from you. I'm like, look, you don't want to give me an autograph? That's fine. I just like watching you on TV. You see? And that's what it's about. I like that promo he gave. I like that Chris Jericho is trying to ruin that Ring of Honor, but not in the sense. I want Claudio to win. I want Claudio to beat Chris Jericho. He's the one that's going to beat him again and become the Ring of Honor champion. Because if he decides to go after that belt, which I think he wants to, you see, I don't like Mike Sterling. I don't like Mike Sterling being in everywhere. I don't. Mark Sterling has no and I feel like they're trying to make him relevant, and he's not relevant. That's the sad part. He's not relevant to me. He's just a high paid lawyer, highly paid lawyer that basically can get the copyright infringement of every gimmick. And I'm like, bro, I don't trust Tony Nese. I like Tony Nese and Woods, but they always lose. Those dudes are never gonna be taken seriously as a tag team because those dudes always lose. I don't mind Swerve trying to hurt Billy Gunn, but that's like what you want to shot at the Acclaim title belts, but I'm like, where's Keith? I'm like, bro, and what I've seen and this is what I'm saying with the AEW, it was really good yesterday. It was because like my match of the night was the Jungle Boy Luchasaurus match, because that match was crazy. I love the back and forth between them. Like this is what I'm saying about Jungle Boy. He's now Jungle Boy Jack Perry, which I love the fact that they call him that now instead of him just being Jungle Boy. And I'm glad that he's kind of like hitting it. He's not done with Christian. He's not done with him. And I know they're gonna probably do a big like blow off match at Full Gear because that's where it's gonna head to. Because that's what I kind of want. And I'm also glad that Orange Cassidy can finally call himself champion. He's had like 60 something wins, and I'm like, you know what? This dude deserves to be All Atlantic champion more than Pac, because Pac was the first inaugural. But I'm like, bro, Orange Cassidy is a guy that you can't count him out, and it took him literally to go on a dark side to beat Pac. I love Pac. I love the bastard. I do, but I'm glad that he has that belt. He can finally say, "Yo, I actually had a championship in 3 years." Most people when they get to AEW or WWE 4 years later, they want the championship, but they're like, "What's the point of having?" That's my thought on that. My thought on AEW Dynamite. AEW Toronto was good. I thought it was fantastic. I think Friday's gonna be good because we got the Pinnacle. The Pinnacle's back with FTR and Warlow. And Sean Spears, which I'm glad that he's got the 10 gimmick back because I really wanted him to be. I'd rather him be the 10 instead of him trying to be the chairman, which I don't mind. because I want to see if they're actually going to become a trios. Because if they become the Pinnacle, I think MJF is not going to really need them. Because they don't want to be with MJF. Because I think he's happy just being his own guy and being the guy that he wants to be. See, I love Brian Cage. Like I love Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony, but those dudes don't do nothing. You know. Because every time I see them, it's like with the Factory. The Factory is great, but they're not tag team champions. They got to be ranked like number 13 or something on the rankings, because if the Acclaim are number one, Wardlow's got to be like at least number 2 or 3 next to Best Friends, because they're really good. And that's what I mean. Like I said, but all in all, guys, I think I'm gonna give this AEW Toronto. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 for this one. Like I said, I'm trying to see what they're gonna do coming into the paper, like coming into like next Tuesday, because there's a lot of stuff happening, and I know for a fact that now we kind of got Nyla Rose and Jade kind of starting something, which is good for me. Because I mean, Nyla Rose might get rid of Jade Cargill, and she might just take her out. And I like that she might just do that. She might just take her out. She might just take her out, win the title, and make money. Because that's why I feel like Nyla's going to go. Because she's already been women's champion. She's already been that champion. That's the problem. She's never had, like, another belt. I mean, she's been there for 3. This is, like, her 3rd year, too. Because everybody and this is what I'm thinking about, too. Because, sorry, guys. This is what I'm thinking about, too. Because, you know, like, logically, AEW keeps getting better and better with the storylines, because that's the thing. WWE is trying to combat that, but they can't really combat it because the Bloodline are the new storylines. But other than that, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Peace.